Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Of course, you know what time it is. Arthur Moats here with the distinguished panel. And of course, if you don't know, they are what makes the show unique and fire because I am joined by the doctor. I'm talking about the real doctor, the one with the PhD, Dr. TaNeisha from at Really Flawed YouTube channel. Shout out to her. And you see the trophy. I'm going to acknowledge it every single time because it's gold, it's shiny, and that's an Emmy award over there. So shout out to the Emmy award winning producer for, the WRAL Channel 5 in Raleigh, North Carolina, Mark Bergin. Also being in the building today, looking dapper, might I add. Shout out to the sweats. I see what y'all on today, all right? I love it, by the way. Love it. So, appreciate y'all being here. Everybody good on y'all side though? Everybody feeling right?
Well, we are going to be even better once I introduce our amazing host, Arthur freaking Moats, everybody. His birthday was this weekend, okay? And so he is 1 year older. He made it to see another year early, or another year. He's a 9-time NFL, 9 years. You played in the NFL 9 years. You know how amazing it is playing the NFL for 9 years? That is phenomenal. This is Arthur Moats, everybody, the host of the Arthur Moats Experience. And Mark Bergin, what do you have for us?
Arthur, happy belated birthday to you, first and foremost.
I appreciate you.
And secondly, you can find him on the social media platforms, Instagram and X, under the handle Dabody52. That's DABODY. The number's 52, all one word. The one and only Arthur Moats. Why Dabody, really? Arthur? I've never asked you that. Why is that your handle?
So, actually, the nickname came when I was in high school because I always had a nice body. I was just to take my shirt off and you're going to see what you want to see. And yeah, I got the nickname The Body. And because back in those times, we weren't on this proper, it was DA, The Body. You feel me? So that was why I became that. And then it just kind of stuck. And yeah, I didn't know that, 20 years later, it was still popping up at different times. But it has stuck, and I'm like, you know what? Part of me also feels like I have to continue to work out because if I ever kind of lose the fit in the physique, they're going to be looking at the body like, ooh, that ain't the regular body no more. That's a big body. So I do feel that pressure because of the handle, but it's a good motivational piece, okay? It keeps me in line. So y'all kids, exercise, all right? If you get a nickname like this, just because you got to keep it. But other than that, though, man.
Yeah, I appreciate hang on, really quickly. You don't have to get ready if you stay ready. Welcome in. It's Monday morning. It's Monday morning, everybody. We've got you with life lessons. But sorry, we can continue.
Life lessons. Oh, God. Listen, if you're here for life lessons, good luck. Good luck.
Look, y'all want a life lesson? This is where it starts at. Team USA World Baseball. We did win last night 2-1. All right. Game. That's about the only hard hitting facts y'all got from me, okay? Because I'm 38 now, all right? And that's all I could remember, all right? So I was over here enjoying basketball all weekend, Mark, okay? Shout out to all these free agency moves, but I'm ready to come and chop it up with y'all a little bit, if that's all right, all right?
Well, I guess. So my alarm said I was supposed to do when I woke up this morning. So
okay. Well, look, I would hate to interrupt your beautiful morning over there. All right, since I'm saying the alarm was set, Mark got the drip on. So you know what? Let's get to it, man. Since the last time we've recorded as a group, as a panel, right? We've had a couple of signings that took place. Rico Dowdle, right? We were on the fence about what the running back situation could potentially look like, but now Rico Dowdle's officially under contract. Jaquan Brisker also coming over from one of Mark's old stomping grounds in Chicago. Then from there, Sebastian Joseph Day. TaNeisha likes the bigger fellas, man. She says, the trenches are where the games are won and lost. So we got a bigger body. And, we got those people that love some specialists out there. We even tapped into the specialist market, getting on Cameron Johnston, a oldie but a goodie, but a oldie but a goodie. I don't even know. We're going to figure it out. And then last but certainly not least, just to throw a little more of a little monkey wrench in the situation, bring in Darnell Savage while you had it too. All right. So here we are. Some extra pickups at some key positions, some positions of need that we've discussed. How we feeling about it? Let's start with the Emmy Award winner first, because he has the Emmy Award just like shining right there. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Let's start with Rico Dowdle. And I know that we're really psyched for Michael Pittman Jr. to go opposite DK Metcalf. So wide receiver 2, check. Seem to have that figured out for the next several years because he signed the extension with the Steelers as well. But with Dowdle, Arthur, I go back to something you said on this very show several weeks back when we were talking about Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell. Both are very good players in the NFL. Kenneth Gainwell was the team's MVP of the 2025 season. He goes off and gets a more lucrative deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But Arthur, what you said, and I'm paraphrasing here, is the style of running back of Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell was that they were 2 chihuahuas. And that is given with their size and their ability, or maybe, I don't want to say lack of ability, but just they can't run between the tackles as well as other running backs in the league. Now with Rico Dowdle, you get someone who is more complementary to Jaylen Warren's skill sets. And that's something that really, really excites me. So that was the one where I was like, I really wanted to talk about in terms of getting more offensive playmakers. I'm not saying Rico Dowdle is going to be an all-pro player, but we're talking about someone who's been very efficient in his last 2 seasons, and he reunites with Mike McCarthy, who helped get him to this point in his career.
Never forgetting the history. I see you, Mark. Look, that's why you are who you are, okay? That's why you are. But shout out to the doctor. What's up, Doc? I know you got something for me. Talk to me.
So it's never too early to say size matters. So I love whenever we go get big guys, interior, defensive line, offensive line. I love all of those moves. So shout out to that. The other thing I really actually liked, though, too, with a big guy move with Sebastian Joseph Day is he had production last year. And sometimes I feel like we look in free agency and we're like, who has the most production? Who's the best? Who's the whatever? And I love that he subtly had a really good season last year. And I know a lot of Tennessee Titans fans, they were like sad that he was gone. And I like when fans are sad somebody leaves, because to me that means like, okay, you were either banking on him or you liked him or you remembered him. And so for me, I love that because I feel like we've all quietly kind of said, our defensive line, like it would be nice if we could kind of get like a little bit of a facelift here or there. Yeah. And so I loved that move. And obviously Pittman Jr. was kind of like the move, right? Like that's what sent Steeler Nation, like all standing ovation in our homes, wherever we were located. So I want to like make sure I acknowledge that. But I like the shoring up the defensive line. Like nothing is ever wrong with that, especially in the AFC North, where some of our guys are a little bit older.
I like how you put that. A little bit older.
A little bit older.
Since some of us are, a little bit older right now, just add another year to the equation. It's like, what? Shout out to just a little bit older. Okay, guys? I like this. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, did you notice one other thing, too, that they traded for Michael Pittman as well? Mm-hmm. They didn't sign a receiver in free agency. Yeah. Going back to my, who the quarterback theory is. Just something I noticed.
No, absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see what else we do, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But, the one thing that kind of stood out to me, Jaquan Brisker. When we looked and we were talking, about the back end, right? And initially the Jamel Dean signing had me over here like, yeah, man, it's going to be D, Sante in the slot, JPJ out, out at the other corner. And then you're going to have Ramsey and good old Deshaun Elliott. But Jaquan Brisker isn't a rotational guy. That's not a bench player. Jaquan Brisker is a box, physical, can tackle, explosive, makes plays type of safety. And I'm just like, man, what are we about to do on this back end? Are we staying put, or is there another potential move that's about to happen? Because, man, that was part of even why on the front end when Jaquan Brisker's name had popped up a couple of times, I was kind of shushing it like, I don't see that. I just don't see that one. I just feel like it'll be too crowded if that one is here. And now it's here. And that was definitely the surprise out the group. Rico Dowdle, I do like that move, though. I do think that was something that we needed. And you look at what he was able to do in Carolina. Even though he split some carries at times with Chuba Hubbard, man, that is a physical runner, a guy that gets you. He'll get you 1,000 yards. Right. We talk about, I need my 1K rushing. Even though it's something that anybody can do until they don't do it. It's like, man, Rico definitely can give you that. And I do think it pairs better with Jaylen Warren. I think this will also allow Jaylen Warren to be more of the standout by himself without having to compete in the same exact role with a Kenneth Gainwell, who last year we would all agree outplayed him, and that was why he was the team MVP, right? So that's, the two that kind of caught me off guard, or the one that caught me off guard, but the one that I also appreciate the most. But is there anything with these signings from y'all that kind of stood out in another way where you're just like, well, I think this move will signal that this potentially is next? Kind of what I brought up about the Jaquan Brisker move.
I think what signals something for me is that they're not willing to part ways with their draft picks yet. Mm-hmm. That is very interesting to me. And in a lot of ways, it signals they're probably going to move up in the draft, because you don't want 12 draft picks. That's a lot of draft picks, and then like by the time they all come up for contracts, that's a lot. And so every time I see somebody, I'm like, do we give up any draft picks? And it's like they're holding on to those chips. And now I'm wondering, that's the most surprising thing to me as I sit here now, is looking and going, wow, we still haven't parted ways with any of those. So that signals to me that either they're not done and they're still maybe working out something in free agency, or they're like, no, we're going to trade up in this draft, and we need every single draft pick we can get to trade up.
And that's a good detail that you also picked up on, because we're right with the Michael Pittman Jr. move. It wasn't we just sent a pick over there and signed him. No, we sent a pick and it was a swap. So we do still retain the 12 total picks. So absolutely on that. What about you though, Mark? How you feeling about it?
It's the Gambler by Kenny Rogers. You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Mm-hmm. And they're holding them right now.
Yeah,
they are.
That's how I see that. TaNeisha, to your point about teams being upset when a player goes elsewhere, I know Panthers fans wanted Rico Dowdle still in the backfield, because when he was doing his thing filling in for an injured Chuba Hubbard, he went off, which is how he's able to get this nice contract with the Steelers. And the year before, he had another 1,000-yard season with the Cowboys with McCarthy. And they were concerned, at least here in the state of North Carolina, where I live, that Dave Canales, the head coach, should have ridden and continued to play and given the lion's share of the carries to Rico Dowdle instead of Chuba Hubbard. That was a huge point of contention here. And you might say, well, Mark, it all worked out. The Panthers won the NFC South. They won the NFC South with the sub-500 record and lost in a game where it was a win and you're in. They needed help after losing in the final week of the regular season to the Bucs. They still get into the playoffs because I believe it was the Saints who won in the regular season finale, the final week of the season. My point being, Panthers fans did not want to lose Rico Dowdle, and now he is a Pittsburgh Steeler. Brisker in the playoff game, when it counts, 14 tackles, 2 passes defended against the Rams. He was everywhere. Your theory about will the Steelers make a move at the defensive backfield, whether it's safeties or corners, can you move Jalen Ramsey around to where if he needs to play corner and safety and move around? I like the positional versatility where this past season in 2025, I would have said the Steelers have the most depth at edge rusher and tight end. The defensive backfield, I'm not even tripping on. And I think that they need to keep this depth in the defensive backfield because they thought that they had that going into last season when you go up against the likes of a Jamar Chase and a T. Higgins in the division. I'm talking about the best of the best when it comes to the receiver position. When we had Darius Slay and Joey Porter Jr. going into last season, it's like, oh, well, Slay, Super Bowl championship. We're set at corner. I actually have confidence now because Jamil Dean's coming in. He has a nice contract. And then Asante Samuel, I thought, played really well and was part of the group that really fortified the defensive backfield on the fly mid-season. There was a huge difference between the front half of the year in the defensive back play and the back half of the year, the defensive play in the 2025 season for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No, I love that right there, man. And shout out to Asante Samuel also being brought back. That's also a high pedigree draft pick, but he's also a young version. Darius Slay was like, yeah, we throw all the titles on him, but it was still an older Darius Slay. Yeah. Shout out to age, man. Shout out to older. All right. If John Q was the theme last week, I feel like age is the theme this week. All right. Shout out to that. All right. But let's get it. Two things. Mark, first off, man, I thought what you were trying to explain was how bad the Carolina Panthers actually were last year, when you were just breaking it down about how, man, they almost won the division, but then they almost lost the division, but then they almost won the division, and they needed some help. And I'm just like, it sounds like they are really bad. The way that people talk about the Steelers is like what they actually are. That's what it sounded like to me, but I digress. We got in because a team missed the field goal, right? So, that was like, whoa, but that Carolina situation, like, day going, man. All right.
Arthur, I'm showing this very clip to my news director when I get in today. Incredible. Incredible.
So shout out to you for that, man. But the other thing that I really like, and the more we speak on it, the more we're talking about it, is competition, right? That's one of the things that I love. That's one of the things I know TaNeisha speaks on, even at times where we're like, man, I don't know if we're going to get that type of competition at this position. When I look at this roster and some of these moves, Rico Dowdle, why is that competition? Who did we just draft a year ago that was supposed to be this guy? Caleb Johnson. That is instant competition for him. TaNeisha, you said you like the big fellas, right? You said Sebastian Joseph Day, right? You know he's literally the like carbon copy body type of Keanu Benton. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me the guy that at times we're like, yo, you could be a dog, but then at times we're like, yo, you playing a little bit high, bro. You could be a little bit, play a little bit better, more consistent. That's competition. You said, hey, Mark, what'd you say about Jaquan Brisker? You said he's not a bench player, right? He's not just a special teams only guy, right? He's a guy that actually plays defense, actually makes plays, right? Productive guy. Well, we got a guy that's coming off of an injury that missed a lot of time. No, just here, take the spot back. This is competition. And even when we talk about bringing in Jamel Dean, Asante Samuel, having JPJ here, but you still say you got Jalen Ramsey. Do you want to play him in the slot? Hey, Asante, that's not just a given to you anymore. Whoa, that's the thing that I do feel will make our roster a lot better. I do feel like that helps us as players, even though it is that weird dynamic of, man, we're teammates, we are brothers, but at the same time, I am trying to take your spot. I am trying to take that job, that contract, and you know what it is. But I love you, but you know what this is. I just think that that's going to make that group a lot better as a whole, and hopefully we won't have those lulls that we've experienced at times where we have these high expectations because of the talent, but it's almost like, man, we're not getting enough production from them. This should help offset that from my perspective.
Yeah. I have a question. I don't know the answer, obviously, but is there anything we're picking up on that our defense might look like or be like or do with these pickups? Like, is this signifying, like, even the re-signings, like, is this signifying anything to, like, what am I supposed to take from this? Are we, because I think my biggest thing with Coach Tomlin leaving is obviously a lot of the things that we thought, a lot of things that we knew, we just knew them. We just knew what we were going to do. We knew our defense. We knew our offense. We knew everything. Now I feel like we don't really know much, but are these signings signaling anything that we should be paying attention to? Or like, what is it telling us football wise?
So to me, when I look at it, I say a couple of things. As we sit here today, right, and this is prior to any new roster moves in terms of guys being traded, released, or bringing anybody in, I say, okay, we are not going to be afraid to rock with three safeties out there. And what the three safeties approach does, think of it no differently than a team that, likes to use three linebackers. But, man, that third linebacker at times might be a bad coverage matchup. So instead of going to your traditional nickel defense, you're going to put a smaller slot corner out there. And now he has to try to play the run and the pass, and it's not going to be the best situation versus the run. Well, now you're able to use that third safety, that Jaquan Brisker, or is that a Deshaun Elliott, right? And you just feel like, man, I got an even more upgraded version of that spot, a guy that can still give me some more physicality versus the run, a guy that can play in that box, maybe even blitz when you're talking Jaquan Brisker. But I also got a guy that can probably cover a lot better than a linebacker could as well. So that's the thing that I'm initially seeing. And then, like we said, man, I think we're going to be playing a lot more of that man-to-man coverage when you think of a Jamel Dean being here and how we like to use JPJ just throughout his NFL career. He's been a press, hands-on, very physical corner. Even when he's playing zone, he is still pressed up, very physical. So when I think of how Jamel Dean plays, that's also a staple for him. So I envision a lot more man-to-man versus a lot more of that Tampa 2 stuff that we were doing last year, where you got Patrick Queen running up the middle of the field, and we kind of had that like soft spot areas. I just think that we'll get more of that. Now, in terms of the front, I think the front stays as is. I just think that Sebastian Joseph Day, I think that is going to push, like I said, a Keanu Benton early on to see if they swap that out the lineup, because Derek Carmen and Cam Hayward, they're going to be starting. They're going to be out there. But that nose spot is what I'm kind of looking at as, okay, this signing, maybe that changes that dynamic. But that's what I'm envisioning, at least right now, with some of these moves and how they present personnel wise, right? Because we haven't seen them all together just yet. But when we think of Jaquan Brisker in Chicago, how he was utilized there, it's like, man, you would want to utilize him in a similar fashion. That's why you go get him. That's why you pay him versus putting him in a position where he's going to be completely, uncomfortable or not utilized in the best position for himself to be productive.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah, I look at the Sebastian Joseph Day signing of getting more depth at a position where you need it. And I'm wondering, could Sebastian Joseph Day bump Benton to another spot along the defensive line? Or if they're going to swap in and out and make sure that both are staying fresh throughout the course of a game. I also look at it that Cam Hayward's turning 37. I know it's not the exact same position along the defensive line, but how do you keep him fresh as late as possible later on in the year? How many more years can you expect him to continue playing at an all-pro level? So it gives you some more depth there. And remember about Benton as well. He's also entering the final year of his rookie deal. So depending on how he plays, Joseph Day's on a 2-year contract. If the Steelers did lose Benton after this year, if he balls out and gets a massive deal, or if they just can't come to terms, maybe it's a good season, but not an elite or great season, they at least aren't left out high and dry with nothing, considering that they have the signing with Joseph Day. So like you said, the production, he's had a few different stops, but you like what you see on tape of someone who is a good, solid football player. And your defense starts from the ground up, A gap, B gap. Everything else is like irrelevant to me if you cannot consistently stop that an opposing offense from just ramming it down your throat, play after play after play after play. And then Arthur, what I wanted to ask you of, okay, so with a 3 safety look, is that like a what was the laugh there?
Just go.
You're just able to say words I can't. So I'm just going to let you have it.
Okay. Arthur, what I wanted to ask you with the 3 safety look is the 3-3. Is that a 3-3-5? Is that a nickel?
Yeah. So you don't necessarily have to do it out of the 3-3-5. I know collegially you get that a lot more, and I absolutely hate the 3-3-5.
I worry about like a week, like not enough players in the box when another team wants to run on you.
This. So don't think of it 3-3-5. Think of it more so of a 4-3, but instead of it being a Sam and Will linebacker out there, it's a Will linebacker and a safety, or it's a Sam linebacker and that's a safety also down in the box. So it's just a bigger body. So for TaNeisha, when I say 4-3 versus when we're talking about nickel, they look the exact same. And instead of it being, let's see, who was the nickel this past year? At times when Jalen Ramsey would be in the box, right, as the nickel. Think about him versus if that's having to be Alex Highsmith walked out on a tight end or a number 2 receiver, right? So that's kind of the difference of how we would do it in Pittsburgh if we're trying to stay base and having that extra linebacker, quote unquote, for the 4-3 look versus the 3 safety look. It's, man, we'll have TJ, Highsmith, Cam, Derek Harmon, right? It would be Patrick Queen, Peyton Wilson. Brisker would be that guy that would be in that box, right? And then deep it would be Deshaun Elliott, Jalen Ramsey. Outside you would have Jamel Dean, and then on the other corner would be JPJ. But if we were going to flip that and make it a true traditional slot, right? True traditional nickel. Now Brisker's off the field, and now it's Asante Samuel out there. So now you can see the difference body type wise. We feel a lot better for coverage. But do you want Asante having to be the guy that when that guard is pulling, hey, go set the edge, go hit that. When they go in, there's a fullback out there, hey, you go meet that guy at the edge of this thing and match him force for force. Asante, it's like you don't want him doing that. Yeah. Brisker, he can do that a lot better, right? We talk about Deshaun Elliott, bigger frame. He can do that. We obviously know Jalen Ramsey has shown that he has the ability to work and do certain things with his athleticism, but that's, just the things that you would, the situations in terms of why you would want to go with the 3 safety look and how you want to utilize that situationally.
So I have a very important question.
Let's go.
Can these guys catch the football?
Actually, yeah. Asante Samuel, we saw that last year. He catches picks. Brisker's going to catch him. Ramsey catches him. Heck, Deshaun Elliott started catching picks. He just got hurt. But to say so, yeah. I think all the ones that dropped them were Duggar. Shout out to Duggar. He dropped a few. Pierre, he got paid, but he let 1 or 2 go. You know what I'm saying? So we do technically got the guys that actually make catches.
And bless JPJ's heart. Like, bless his heart. Like, if he could catch consistently.
Listen, he's like his uncle, okay? Love his uncle, but he's like his uncle, man.
Something about the jersey 24 and Steelers fans will know what I'm talking about.
Hands like feet. That's what you say. Just hands like feet, baby. All right.
When you tell me about all this defensively the positional versatility, Arthur, coming to a stadium near you, it excites me, man.
Yeah. Let's go. And then what about my favorite pickup because of his name, Darnell Savage?
Yeah.
Where does he fit into this? What kind of first of all, we have a corner. Exactly. Like, how do you not want somebody named Savage on your defense of all places? Like, it would only be better if he was like a big nose tackle. That would have been the only way that maybe even a linebacker I could get with that. But like, yeah, he has to be able to catch. Like, can he catch? I need basic requirements when I need my guys. I mean, one of the few arguments, use that word lightly. One of the few debates that Moats and I have had was if you can catch or like, what was it? PBUs or like being able to catch the football.
Yeah, she's not a fan of PBUs.
No, she's very anti. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Mark. No. You saw how she looked at me post Chicago game. You saw it. Mark was looking at her like, "Oh, she's for real." I'm like,
Mark was laughing at me.
She hates me because I think PBUs are actually a good thing. It's not a great thing, but a good thing. I think interception is a great thing. She's
fair.
Like, PBU, ew, how dare you? Wow,
that's not fair. I think PBUs are fine.
And disdain.
My thing is how many times does the ball have to hit your hands before you actually catch the ball?
We see wide receivers. We have a wide receiver whose whole job is to catch the ball. And he gets paid just to catch the ball.
And that's unacceptable too. But that's unacceptable too.
I'm just saying though, it's levels. So when we're saying the best of the world,
y'all
right?
remember the world, Craig. Right there, like
the
filling
world,
a punt.
Craig.
Like,
the best in the world, Craig. Don't be catching up all the time. So when this defender gets the ball one time, all right,
no, it was 2 times.
He might get 5 attempts in a season. He might get 5. In 3 of them, he don't even know when it's happening. Okay, I'm just like, yo, it's a PBU. The fact that you got your head turned around and you know how good these quarterbacks are, you know how much they pay. It was a Caleb Williams that he was touching the football on too. Come on, man. How we feel about Caleb Williams, right? They feel like that's one of the next ones coming up, right? We like,
that's why you should catch it. Because Caleb Williams threw it to you.
The better they are, the harder it is. Okay? The better they are, the harder it is.
I remember the specific play where he was just sitting there and like, I'm like, Caleb, it was a bad throw, Caleb Williams, and he throws it right to you and you cannot catch. Like, how do you, anyways, that's a whole different discussion. Shout out to Caleb Williams. That's a whole different discussion for another day. But
I know what would solve this debate. Given that
if we both went out and tried to catch.
No, that's funny though.
So Rose versus Joes.
That's
funny though. We'll get the machine.
A competition where me and Moats have to go out there to settle a debate.
Mark, we catching 20-yard cutbacks, all right? I went 20-yard cutbacks. I'm throwing them on a rope. Get the Judge machine out here. Let's go.
That would be like a man argument. Yeah, that would be like a man way of deciding like a debate. Like, get out there and do it.
TaNeisha, just catch the ball. Use your hands. It ain't hard, all right?
Hey, listen, don't challenge me to that, okay? Because I might win, all right? I'm not going to back down. I don't care if you're a pro or what you are, okay? I'm going to be out there catching those balls, okay? Go ahead, Mark.
What I was going to say, given that age is the theme of today's episode, you get on the sticks and on Madden. And I remember back in the day, you'd trying to guard Randy Moss in Madden. And if you'd clicked the triangle button to try to intercept it, TaNeisha, you weren't going to beat Randy on a deep ball. But if you pressed L1, which was the pass breakup, you had a chance. You had an opportunity. So, TaNeisha, I'm with you. When they're there, when they're right in the breadbasket, when you get two hands on it, I'm with you. Catch the ball, please.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to make a blanket statement depending on who you're going against and then what happens on that specific play. But I am with you. Get the takeaways when they present themselves. But, Madden is the solution. Madden is my solution.
I was going to say, shout out to the perfect world that we would all love to live in. But that's the reason why you have great players, good players, average players, and, the rest, the field. Because not everybody is making no plays, even, quote unquote, the best of the world. But that is also why you enjoy when you do see those guys make them plays, man, and do it on a more consistent basis, man. So we're on the same page with that for sure. All right. Mark, talk to me, baby. Talk to me, all right? How we feeling about today, man? What you got for me, man? I know you usually got something spicy on your mind, on your palate. I just want to get in here, man, all right? I'm feeling it. I'm feeling like it's right.
We're still waiting on quarterback. I like all of these moves. And I'm like, here's where I'm at. I was talking to a coworker about this who's a Steelers fan. Could you imagine with the top 10 quarterback, like pretty good roster? Like I like where we're positioned better than we were a year ago. And part of this is with the departure of Calvin Austin going to the Giants. It's not so much losing Calvin Austin. I'd rather have Michael Pittman than Calvin Austin at receiver 2. It's just where I'm at. But Kevin Colbert's final 5 drafts, 3 of the 39 players drafted are still on this roster, and one of those 3 is Mason Rudolph, who came back to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The other 2, Pat Freiermuth and Alex Highsmith. So I'm sitting here like, all right, have some more playmakers along the receiver position, the running back position. Got to figure out what we're doing at left guard with the departure of Isaac Seumalo. But I'm like, we get in a top 10 quarterback. This is a pretty good team. And that's where I'm like, with Rodgers, it's like, okay, I think that's a further indication he will be back. But to TaNeisha's point, while we're talking about all this and where we're landing at in the conversation right now, with the 12 draft picks, the Steelers have some flexibility. But I'll say this, though, too. I would not want to go through April's draft and still be waiting for Rodgers unless they have a wink promise behind the scenes that we're not privy to and we don't know about. That's how I'm thinking about all this. Not really half-baked today, but I really like some of the moves Pittsburgh has made, and I'm like, gosh, if we could get top 10 quarterback play, I really think that this is an improved roster from what we saw a year ago.
I'm actually glad that you did speak on the roster being improved, because that is something that I was curious about to see, from both of y'all, how y'all felt when we talk about a Rico Dowdle, right? But you lose a Kenneth Gainwell. We bring in a Kenneth or a Michael Pittman Jr., but you lose a Calvin Austin. We're looking at some of these swaps. Isaac Seumalo leaves. We still technically haven't filled that hole just yet. And we obviously still have the quarterback scenario. But as you're speaking, Mark, it does feel like this is a better roster. But can it truly be better while we still have one of the biggest holes at one of the biggest spots, which is quarterback right now? And unfortunately, my little favorite is no longer available. He wanted to go to Minnesota. Shout out to my little favorite.
I told you.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry. All right.
We had such a spirited conversation, and it's like, well, too bad he's going to go to Minnesota.
And Mark, and
Malik Willis to Miami as well. And so when the dust settles and the dust clears, and then the next iteration, the next run on this is going to be in April's draft with the quarterbacks that are available there. I do not want to walk in. Go ahead, TaNeisha.
Anthony Richardson still available.
No, don't do this. Don't do this. I know I joke around about Brett Rippon.
Don't do this, bro.
TaNeisha, please. If this were say the end of the week, if this were say the end of the week, I could entertain this conversation. To start the week, TaNeisha, that's gonna hurt my soul. It's gonna hurt my soul.
You don't like that option?
Because he can flip. Because he can do a backflip.
I was thinking 6'5", fast, physical, strong. No?
You know what's hilarious to me is that Arkansas quarterback
wait for Rodgers?
Bad.
The Arkansas quarterback keeps getting compared to Anthony Richardson, but then it comes with the caveat of like, he's going to be like a 5th round pick. Richardson went, what was it? Number 3, went top 5 or whatever
something
he was.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And on top of this, it's like, yes, he looks like Cam Newton, but like a even better athletic version, which is crazy because Cam is a crazy athlete, right? But then you just watch it, it's just like, I don't like this at all. This
okay, well.
At what point have I seen it ever look quarterback? Right? Like when I say look quarterbacky.
TaNeisha, I was going to say, what are other options? That's better. It's not great.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it is not, because he's still actually money-wise, but still, I don't like it. I don't like it, man. That was 2 years ago. I don't like that. That's why I wanted Mini-Me, okay? But now I can't have that one, so now I'm just stuck. And I'm just like, when I saw that signing happen, I was like, Kylie, you want to piss me off on my birthday? I see what's going on here. I'm not going to allow you to do this. The devil won't win today, okay? That was my mindset, all right? But I'm just like, And then I see Malik get what he got. I'm like, absolutely not. I'm cool on that one. That wasn't enough for me in Green Bay to go.
So Anthony Richardson's not in the middle of those?
No, how is A. Rich in the middle of any of that? How is TaNeisha? No. And you know what's going to happen, Mark? You know what's going to happen? We're going to sign him. And then I'm going to have to be like, all right, guys, there's some positives in this thing. We're going to find him. He's athletic.
Let's think about
he can extend the play, strong arm, got a lot of intent, a lot of that stuff. But I just want the pieces to be put together a little bit more. Right now, you said you're a puzzle person, TaNeisha, right? Right now, I'm looking at all of these pieces that he brings, right? Strong arm, great frame, could do backflips, can run super fast, But then I'm just like, man, when I think of, can he actually, run 10 plays in a row and not take himself out for being tired as the quarterback? I haven't seen that connection just yet. Man, I saw him start versus us and have a hot 2 series and then get banged out by my man Mika Fitzpatrick. It's like, man, now I'm questioning how tough can it be? Then it's like, man, okay, I've seen you continue to do the same thing that when I was watching you at Florida, where you weren't reading these defenses and you was just throwing it, and we're like, bro, with your eyes closed right there, even though you got this rocket arm, I just haven't seen that put together enough just yet. So TaNeisha, as I look at this puzzle, it's like, the picture on the box looks amazing. It looks like the most amazing puzzle. But it's like a 3,000 piece puzzle, and I think I might got like 50 pieces put together right now. Okay. So that's why I just feel really uncomfortable. At 38, I can say that now, TaNeisha.
You're older. Okay, uncomfortable. Nice.
And if he is the main option at quarterback, that would make me have a lot of anxiety.
Nice.
Okay, and I wouldn't be able to rest with ease when I lay my head on my nice pillow. Okay,
why you have to have a nice pillow?
Because I sleep nice on my nice pillows. It's just
okay.
Nice.
Steelers legend.
You know what I mean? But I don't know if I'll be able to relax the same way. Is all I'm trying to communicate. So hopefully you guys can understand that.
TaNeisha, it's like, okay, it's as simple as this. He can't throw a slant pass accurately. Like that has to be the. I'm serious.
Yes.
I've watched Colts games where he misses on a slant, and I'm like, that's your most basic pass. Okay. It sounds silly, but
these are the same things that at times we complained about with Kenny Pickett. We would say you have to make routine, and it's not even like a shot. It's just like you at this level, you have to make routine plays, because when you miss that slant, now that kills us on this next down. That kills whatever plays we're trying to run progressively. That also kills what your defense is doing if that miss was on a third down. It's certain throws that you have to make and make them 9 out of 10 times. It can't be 6 out of 10. It can't be 5 out of 10. At that position, that's what we be saying, even though he has the ability to make them 10 out of 10. He has that in there. It's just like, bro, you got to put it together. And at what point do you turn the page on him? I'm, after about 2-3 years, I'm like, hey, bro, I done kind of seen it. I done seen it. I keep seeing it. All right, bro, I will believe you. I
So
believe you
it's
want to do this.
Rodgers or bust, huh?
No, we're getting Arch next year, man. You told me that, man. We hold
Well,
off
that's
for
next
Arch.
year. We got a whole.
We're gonna hold off for Arch. All right, we're gonna hold off for Arch.
Like we're
In Arch we trust.
I mean,
Telling you.
can Anderson do a pitch? Can he do a toss? Like, I don't know. Or maybe we don't do that anymore in our offense. We still run toss plays.
What's the Mike McCarthy? We got to figure out. Is he a jet sweep dude? Yeah, what's his play? Yeah.
Well, what I wanted to know with Arch is this after a Heisman campaign or not? That's what I want to know.
Yes. Yeah. Unanimous Heisman.
Debatable.
Unanimous Heisman. I feel it. It's happening.
I don't see it.
It's happening. That's because you're not a Texas fan. Okay. I'm a Texas person over it. Okay. Welcome. All right. I'm a Texas guy. All right. So I believe
if it's not Rodgers, we're going into another season where we have a different week 1 starter. Yeah. Point blank. What is that? Would it be like 6 or 7 years in a row?
You know
yes. It's like
all
6
that
years.
Means is it's Will Howard. Oh, that's all that means. I mean, I don't know what the problem is.
That's like smoke, though, of like his upside in.
We know
the
it's
Steelers
smoke because they
position.
keep talking about it.
If they keep talking about it, they do it for a reason.
Oh, they can
Y'all
talk
know the
about
rules.
it. I'm like, oh my God, is he not good? Like, why do we keep talking about this guy?
This quarterback, man, we love what we have with this, and it's like, all right, you love him. Why we keep talking about quarterbacks? Why we keep looking for other people there? Why we keep being rumored and talking? And man, why? Yeah, I'm with you. I'm definitely with you.
I'm with you, Mark, though. I hope there's like a wink, shake. He's a little bit older, so we're giving him the benefit of the doubt, that he can do what he wants to do because he's older, because he's earned that, but we can't come out and say he's older and he's earned that. It's like when the left tackle doesn't show up to training camp and everyone's worried, and then everyone's like, no, he'll be here, don't worry about it. Like, he just needs some time. He just needs some time with his family. So oh gosh. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back before the draft, I agree. It gets a little weird because now it's like we're all assuming he will come back. But if he doesn't before the draft, do you make the move? And then if you draft some guy, now you have the draft capital invested. Now you have 3 quarterbacks and Aaron Rodgers says yes. Now you have 4. Now it's just weird. And have we wasted a draft pick? Or are we wasting an opportunity? So, yeah, that's a weird one.
What I don't get is if you're a quarterback and you looked at the roster right now, even before the draft, compared to last year's roster, post George Pickens trade, if you're a quarterback, I'd much rather play for this 2026 roster than the 2025 roster, straight up.
And you have a Mike McCarthy here who's also offensive minded. We've seen the success that he's had in multiple locations. Quarterbacks have their best seasons with him at the helm. Rodgers, Dak Prescott included. We obviously know OG Brett Favre. But since, we were throwing out some of these free agent quarterbacks or some of these other options, what about the pretty guy, Jimmy Garoppolo? With Mr. GQ, how we feel about him, man? Like, could that potentially be in the framework? Because we have seen him at times make plays. We've seen him take a team to a Super Bowl. He is definitely game manager more so than playmaker. But prior to Kirk Cousins, he was the premier game manager of all game managers, right? And then it was like, okay, Brock Purdy then probably took over that new crown because he has a little bit more in his bag. But how do we feel about Jimmy Garoppolo?
This might seem crazy. I would rather see Will Howard, even though he has not played a snap in the regular season. Just where Jimmy G's at in his career. I'm not saying they're going to win a Super Bowl with Rodgers. Certainly, I think there's some limitations with Rodgers at this point in his career with just how old he is and father time and not as much mobility. But Jimmy G hasn't been there for a few years now. And I think Jimmy G's can be a very, very good backup. But as your starter, these options just are brutal. TaNeisha, what do you think?
Does Will Howard beat him out, though?
Maybe not. But what I'm saying is I'd rather see what Will Howard's got. That is an unknown. With Jimmy G, we have a big enough sample size at this point. TaNeisha, what do you think?
I mean, at that point, just give me Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
I would rather not reach for a Band-Aid if it's just not there. Because I feel like this is like the life situation where it's like, do you want the fix right now, or do you want to set yourself up for hopefully doing something better in the future? And to me, like Garoppolo, what's the guy?
Anthony Richardson, you said?
Anthony Richardson, even the guy
Arthur,
that's coming from the Falcons.
Arthur's a savage.
Kirk Cousins.
Cousins. Like, I just feel like, what? I mean, yeah, I don't know. My thing is this: if Rodgers is a no and it's Howard and Rudolph, I think you have to, unfortunately, you're going to have to draft a quarterback, and you're just going to have to figure that out. I mean, I don't love that. I hate that idea. I don't like these quarterbacks. I've said it 1,000 times, but sometimes your best option is to just start it new and start it all over and start the clock over. There's nothing you can do about it. And maybe that's where we're at. Like, maybe that is the answer obviously, Aaron Rodgers is the best answer at this point. Now, seeing what the options are, it just sucks because it's like, when is the draft? Like a month? So it's like, we need to know. And I also am not scared to play hardball with him and just say, we need to know if we go draft a guy, we don't have any more spots, because now we're in trouble. And now those 12 draft picks we're holding on to, we might need every single one of them just in case. Like, so I don't know. I mean, I hate this position. I hate it. Now, I don't know.
Now, hearing what you just said, right? And I love the fact that you said you don't want to just, do something for the sake of doing it, right? I'm trying to fix this big issue with something that we know really isn't capable of doing that. I mean, isn't that the exact same conversation about this year's quarterback class with this draft? We're literally about to try to do what, right? Man, use these 12 picks to go up here and reach and grab something that none of us feel is truly on that level. So once again, when I come right back to the same spot and we talk about Jimmy G, it's like, Jimmy G ain't costing that type of money. And if I'm bringing Jimmy G in here, all it is a veteran presence that's going to be able to push who? A Mason Rudolph, who we technically haven't seen ever take a team to the postseason, let alone to a Super Bowl, right? Regardless of what their whole role was, we've never seen either one of those guys in that position. So having that here will also put pressure on those guys to elevate in a competition, because Jimmy G, you don't just hand him the keys. That's a competition. That's a wide open competition. But at least it's not a butt naked competition in the space that, man, we haven't had anybody that we feel has had that type of success at this level. That's the only thing that I'm looking at, because I do feel like with Kirk Cousins, that's going to cost potentially more, and it's going to be more of an investment than we want, because none of us feel that he's at that level. But a Jimmy G, if it's going to be in that same framework, but a way cheaper version, now, if Will Howard is who we think he is, man, you should kick Jimmy G's butt. Mason Rudolph, man, if you've developed and you're continuing to improve, you should get Jimmy G out of here. But Jimmy G is also a quarterback that's continued to develop, because he's also been in this league for a while and has actually played in a ton of games, big games. So, I would like to, if I'm going to just be throwing stuff out, I'm like, man, I just come on in here, man. You're going to be super cheap anyways.
With Rodgers, Cousins, and Jimmy G, we're talking about all their best success being years ago, though. And that's my bigger issue of.
But it's seen, though, Mark. All I'm saying is it's seen. We can speak positively on Will Howard and Mason Rudolph, but that is more faith-based, right? There is no production that we're going to look at as valid that we're going to speak to in the same breath of Jimmy G, Kirk Cousins, or Rodgers. And that has to matter, right? It has to matter.
Yeah.
Why is the unknown so scary, though? It's like the unknown then becomes known, and it probably won't work out. I mean, I'm talking with Will Howard here. We don't know, but it's like, I don't understand why it's like, just You got to see what he's got at some point in time.
So, Mark, I don't think that is scary. I think that the divide is you have a lot of people that will look at the unknown from a unrealistically optimistic space. And then they will look at proven, but will only focus on what they did not accomplish and will focus heavily on that. Absolutely. I just said Jimmy G took a team to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We said Jimmy G was one throw away to Emmanuel Sanders that would have won the Super Bowl. And we focus on the fact that he missed that throw. We focus on the fact that he has never actually won it. We focus on the fact that he himself hasn't been all World League MVP. Not, bro, everywhere this dude has played, this dude has a ton of freaking success. This dude has shown that he can drive the car. Like, we don't, but with how, because we have never seen him play good or bad at this level. It's just, man, it's got to, what if it does work though? But what if it does work?
Yeah.
And I think that that's the disconnect with it. I don't think that, it's one side being fearful of the other. I just think it's just the perception of how we look at known versus unknown. And I mean, to a degree, that's kind of how life is, right?
Yeah.
The grass isn't always green, or is it green on the other side? We're always looking and hoping like, maybe it is.
If the option is draft one of these quarterbacks and get Kirk Cousins or Jimmy Garoppolo, I think I would side with getting one of the veterans than I would using a draft pick. And I think that's where I'm standing on this after just like doing a little bit, a couple 3-minute research here, clicking a few buttons, typing in a few things. I think I would rather one of them than spending a draft pick on one, because I think if we spend a draft pick on one, we're still developing. Now we're developing Will Howard and the new guy, and Mason Rudolph is the starter just because of experience until one of those guys can beat somebody out. But if we don't draft one and we get Jimmy G or Kirk Cousins, they at least know how to play quarterback in the NFL. So the development kind of stops, and we all know we're still looking for one. And that gives Will Howard some time if he ends up being the guy, what do they call him? The next Ben Roethlisberger, like whatever they're calling him, whatever. So I like that visually, and it feels better to me to go get a guy that knows how to play quarterback versus going and drafting a guy. And now we have really 2 guys we're really developing on our team. And that leaves, that's kind of where I'm at. It's just a weird situation to be in, honestly. It just feels weird.
Mark, how you feeling over there, man? Got the draft a pick guy, 4 years, 5-year commitment, depending on first round versus second round. Or you got the potentially, man, catch and release, man, get you for the 1 year as cheap as we can get you. Veteran quarterback option, man. Where do you stand as we sit here today on the back end of this show?
I want them to go with the draft route, but it's like, what pick are we talking about? Who's still on the board? If we're talking about first round beyond Mendoza with 21, with the 21st pick, I don't like any of the options. You get into the second and third round, who's available by that point? And the old notion with quarterbacks, it's like, well, if he's good enough to be in the second round, he's probably a first rounder. So then it's like, well, Pittsburgh, you've got 11 other draft picks other than the first 20. Just draft one, and who cares if you miss? You also get into the reality in the NFL when you have young quarterbacks of whose team is it, who's the face of the franchise. And when you're bringing in multiple, think about when Kirk Cousins came into the league with the quarterback he was with in Washington. And you just get into, I think about this from so this is where I put my journalism hat as a journalist, where it's just like the storyline of whose team is it? And you write a quarterback in a headline and you fill in the rest of the sentence, this quarterback versus this quarterback. There's your storyline, there's your headline, and it creates kind of unnecessary drama. And whether that's real or perceived, it's real. When you're talking about quarterback, any other position, cool. So that's where it's like, okay, the Steelers continue to kick the can down the road, also compounded by the fact that this year's quarterback class isn't what previous years has been either, which does not help. it's the same position that they're in between rock and hard place. Having said all of this, I do still think Rodgers comes back. That's kind of my saving grace with all of this.
I like it.
Is that because you actually feel that way, or you're hoping?
No, I actually do feel that way. I actually do feel that way.
That's fair. And what do you think, Moats? What do you like? Would you rather draft a guy, or would you rather get a veteran guy?
So if it's up to me, like I said, I still continue with Rodgers being priority number one, because every name that I've thrown out from a veteran space, I don't view any of them as better options than Aaron Rodgers. But as we progress off of so after we progress off of the Aaron Rodgers option, now that's when we start looking at the veteran option, because I'm looking for 1 year. I don't want a lot of skin in this. I don't want a lot of baggage with this. And that's what makes me hesitant about the draft element, is I'm stuck 4 to 5 years, depending on where I take one of these guys who I already don't have the most confidence in them developing and being better players than what I think I could get from Will Howard, or what I think even where Mason Rudolph is currently today. So that's the part where I don't really love this class in these particular players. So that's what makes, the Jimmy G versus Kirk Cousins a lot more appealing, because I know both of those dudes are 1 year contracts. And with Kirk Cousins, the difference is I would need to look to the details to see if I can get potentially that Kyler Murray situation where, hey, Atlanta is still on the hook for about 30 million. Maybe I'm only having to pay you 5 million. Or Jimmy G, man, could I get you at maybe 15 million, right? Somewhere in that space, versus having to give you 20, 25. Like, those are the things that I'm looking at. And that's why I'm saying to myself, man, if I'm bringing that in here and I still have Mason, I still have Will Howard, it doesn't take away from what those guys are doing. It doesn't take away from those guys having legitimate chances. But I also don't feel like I'm just going into this season blindly banking on something happening that we've not seen even a preseason snap of in terms of Will Howard.
Yeah.
And it's not like we're talking of Will Howard as if he was a at worst second round pick.
Right.
He was picked on the back end of this draft, and it wasn't just the Steelers that passed over him multiple times. So even though us as alumni, us as fans, us as media will talk about Will Howard in this very glowing and high regard, we just had a draft with him in it. And multiple teams, including us, passed up on him numerous times. If he is all of these things, I just feel like another team, including us, would have said, you know what, man, we're not going to allow that to just sit this long. We got to have that right now. And I just don't, my mind just can't compute that shift all of a sudden just because it's been 12 months later.
Yeah, it's valid.
So
it's so weird. It's so weird. It's
weird
because it's the quarterback position.
Yeah,
it's weird because it's the quarterback position.
Yep.
I feel like any other position, it would be like, come on.
It's a lot easier. It's a lot simpler everywhere else, man.
But like with your quarterback, you're like, oh gosh. Yeah.
Yep.
That's yeah. And I also feel like it might give us a little bit more anxiety to not have a quarterback this year and to have a Garoppolo or whatever if we don't go get one. But I also feel like next year it might make us feel a little bit better depending on how the year goes. So sometimes I feel like we're trying to solve for how we feel today, but really the solve is supposed to be the build. The solve is supposed to be over time. And I think sometimes we forget, like, this is a moment in time, and how we feel right now. I don't feel like we should be making a decision on how I might feel right now, because this is a longevity play. Like we still need a quarterback, because even Aaron Rodgers isn't a long time thing.
Yeah, that's a 1 year.
Even he's a temporary. Yeah. So I feel like this isn't just like we solve it today. This time we check mark it. Now I think where it gets interesting is when draft day comes, because the draft always sends things in a tailspin. If the only quarterback that goes is Fernando Mendoza in the first round, and then you're entering day 2 and everybody's still available, now it gets kind of interesting, because now it's like, I wasn't willing to do a first for you, but am I willing to do a second or a third for you? So I feel like
changes
that's
the whole conversation.
Yeah. So that's where it gets interesting for me.
If we do not have an answer from Aaron Rodgers, and perhaps even if they did, that is the world I want to live in, TaNeisha.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
we're day 2. Like
yes,
at
indeed.
night, we're all kind of like, okay, round one's over. What didn't happen? Right. And you're trying to come off of what did happen, what didn't happen. And you're kind of like, wait, all these quarterbacks are still available? Even if 2 are taken and there's still 6 or 5 others, even that conversation to me is interesting. And I don't think they're all going to go in the first round. Too many teams have way different types of needs. And because they reached and got quarterbacks either the year before last or last year. So anyways, it's going to be interesting to see how this draft plays out, I feel like.
To put a bow on this conversation as well, now that the free agency frenzy at the start, where the dust has settled, where Malik Willis is going to Miami and Kyler's going to Minnesota, there was also the option of like, oh, if Rodgers is coming back or not, could perhaps he want to go to another team outside of Pittsburgh? This is true. What happened a year ago where the dust settled and it was like, all right, is this happening or not? Because it's like, we're the only ones left where it's like, we need a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is still out there. As far as I know, I'm not saying another team wouldn't take Aaron Rodgers' services, but pretty much every team's relatively set at this point. Like, it's like, we know Mendoza's going 1 to the Raiders. I don't even know who else would be
rolling with Brissett and
okay.
Yeah, they're going with Brissett. Yeah. And who's the other guy that's out there with them? Minshew. Yeah.
Rodgers isn't going to Arizona. So I can't think of it. I did want to ask you guys a question unrelated to quarterback, but I want to make sure we're where we need to be in terms of the quarterback discussion, because so much hinges on that. But I do have a question outside of that if we're have all of our quarterback
man.
thoughts.
Let's get it off, man.
We're
Let's do it.
TBDing the quarterback.
Yes,
exactly.
Look, we'll probably be back up here in a week from now having a similar, hey, man, how y'all feel about this quarterback thing? Here we are another week close to the draft. Yep.
Yeah.
And Anthony Richardson will be on a new team.
On our team.
Don't do
Who
that.
knows? No. Which departure from the Steelers hurts the most?
The one that hurt me, the one that I didn't love to see was Calvin Austin, just because I felt like he was dynamic, and I don't feel like we have a him on our team right now. Now, can we draft for one and all that? Sure. But when I saw that, I was like, I just didn't love it in the moment where I saw it. I didn't like how I felt when I saw that one. That was the one for me.
I like that. For me, Connor Hayward, man, that's the homie, man. Obviously, I've known him forever when he was just little, bro. And then it was, man, now you league, bro. And now it's like, bro, you getting M's in the league, bro. Like, beautiful situation, man. Was so happy to see that for him. Selfishly, anytime I get a chance to, give the good old Steelers Nation, that was also a good thing, because he's only in the league because he's Cam Hayward's brother.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
That is a very expensive position to be in. And it looks like Vegas really values those type of dudes, man. So it was just good to see that, man. But yeah, man, that's one of the ones for me, man, because the special teams value, he's a double-digit special teams tackle guy, a core 4, meaning punt return, kickoff return guy on special teams. But then you also can see the versatility on offense. Could play fullback, can play tight end, could play quarterback. Had a whole short yardage package going dumb out there this past season, man. So to me, man, just a true football player. So that's the one for me that I was like, oh, man, personally, and the versatility that he presents, that's the one.
What about you, Mark?
I could go Kenneth Gainwell, but I don't think the fit was there with Warren. I will go with James Pierre with Minnesota. Now, the Steelers quickly addressed that void, but going into free agency, that was my bit of nervousness, where I was like, I don't want to go into another season where we think that we're okay in the defensive backfield and we're not. And I thought Pierre was one of the people who really helped fortify the secondary in the back half of the year. Like to see that he got a nice contract with Minnesota. Talking about familiarity, Brian Flores, who used to be a linebackers coach with the Steelers. So the connections that you develop, that to me initially, Kenny G with Tampa as well. I mean, your team MVP, but again, just he and Warren, the skill sets were too similar. I am curious to see what they do at guard with the departure of Isaac Seumalo as well. So that's really, other than quarterback, the only thing that I'm kind of questioning at this point. But I think the important thing, and the reason why I'm more confident in this roster than I was a year ago, is other than, okay, what are we doing at quarterback, which is obviously huge. But then left guard, they'll figure it out. They'll find someone who can do the job. The Steelers are in a position where they can draft for best player available, and that's the best position to be in versus having to draft out of a position of need. And that's a huge, huge advantage, especially when you've got 12 draft picks here a month from now.
All right. I love it. I love it. So let's get ready to get some final words in here because Mark done already thrown the we going left guard in the first round. Y'all heard it here first. Left guard in the first round. This fan base would lose their crap. Come on.
Oh my God.
Oh,
can you imagine?
I heard it, Mark. I heard you, Mark. I heard you.
Was it Cole Strange of the Patriots several years ago? And there were several other players drafted after him. It was like, what were the Patriots and Belichick thinking? And for as brilliant as Bill Belichick was as a 6-time Super Bowl champion, I think that might have been the turning point moment where it's like he might have lost it. He is too
smart. He is too smart for his own good.
So mark me down when you aggregate this show. Mark Bergin, guard, Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah.
This fan lose their
So give me the final words, which I have. Final words, TaNeisha, what you got, Doc?
Final words is like I'm excited, and last week I was fiery because I was like, if they don't do something, if they don't make moves, if they don't because I was like, they better do something. And as of today, I feel better. I feel calmer. I think they've done a great job. We still don't have a finished product yet. Obviously, there's still some things we can do, but I like what they've done. And really, I really like that they've maintained their 12 draft picks. I think that that's absolutely phenomenal. And also, I just want to say before I turn this over to Mark, I will not let go of wanting Sonny Styles some way, shape, or form in the draft. I don't really care. I don't care if it's a pipe dream. I don't care if it's never going to happen. I'm just going to speak it. And you never know. You just never know. So, and I still think we need another wide receiver from the draft. That's all I have.
There it is.
My final thoughts are a vote in confidence in Omar Khan and what he's done to this point. Of however this plays out and shakes out, I do have confidence in him to address the remaining needs of this team, but there are fewer question marks than we saw a year ago. And I see how shrewd he is as a businessman too. I know he was the money man under Kevin Colbert for so many years, but I think about it's not just acquiring Michael Pittman. The fact that you swap a 6th and 7th round pick, that's nothing. And I'm like, it's not lost on me either when we were talking about the Brandon Ayuk rumors over the last year or so, and then he gets released outright. Maybe Omar Khan had this right all along. So it's a vote in confidence with him because of what he's done in this past week in free agency. And as we get closer to April's draft, I'm going to continue to have confidence in him for the remaining needs. And again, right now, as it stands to me right now, it's quarterback with Rodgers. That's obviously the biggest one. And then left guard. And then other than that, let's fast forward to September. I'm ready for week 1. In all seriousness.
There it is.
You're skipping preseason?
Preseason. Oh, man.
You don't know this about me, TaNeisha. You need to see the preseason.
TaNeisha is a war reenactment, but I will save that explanation for future episodes.
Okay.
There it is. Right. There it is. Well, look, man, since y'all have so eloquently laid out the beautiful hard-hitting football facts and everything like that, I'm going to just simply say, USA, USA. Because, like I said, man, USA baseball team, man, take care of business, man, beating the DR. And now we got a punch ticket to the championship.
Wait, I have one question before we end.
Handles their business. Yes, talk that talk. What you
Tell us something you did for your birthday that you really enjoyed.
Man, so I had the most amazing birthday, man. I was at beautiful, absolutely a place that I can't stand, State College, Penn State University, for my 7th grade middle girl basketball state championship tournament, and it was a phenomenal time. On my birthday, they actually had 3 games. They went 2-1, and unfortunately lost the last one, heartbreaker. That team ended up, I think, finishing second in the tournament. We ended up finishing sixth out of, I think it was like 17 teams in the division. So it was a blast. I didn't get kicked out. I saw an ejection, though. I saw a parent get kicked out. And it was a beautiful teaching moment. My son was like, whoa. I was like, yeah, baby. So, hey, you got to listen, right? You know, you can't cross that line too many times. Officials are like the police officers, all right? You better respect them because you keep picking at them and they will let you know who's the boss. And we got to just see that. And so, Mark, you would have loved it, okay? He was really upset, bro. He was really, really upset. And their group was fourth grade, all right? They weren't even in seventh grade. They were fourth grade, okay? So just know, it gets real, all right? But I love that. And I got a chance to get my fit off. All right, y'all see today I got my Diana Taurasi USA basketball jersey on. I had the big Oscar Robinson because, you know, we had to rock the green to match my little lady. So, you know, the birthday was an absolute vibe. So shout out to you for asking. And shout out to everybody showing the birthday love as well. Third gate so far has been a vibe, man. A couple of days into this thing, but, you know, so far so good. So far so good. So, yeah. But appreciate you, Doctor. Appreciate you, Emmy Award winner. And hopefully, congregation, y'all enjoyed today's show. If you did, you know the drill. Hit the like button one time for the culture.
Let's go.
Subscribe. Let's go. If you're new to the channel, you already know. Notification bell, ding it one time as well. Y'all stay safe out there. And until next time, baby. Peace.
Bye.